In the glittering world of Chinese entertainment, stars shine brightly yet often remain carefully separated by the invisible walls of studios, agencies, and the relentless competition that defines their industry. Kai and Wang Yibo, two of the most admired and talked about names in the business, have both carved out their own kingdoms. Kai, with his tall, regal aura and magnetic performances, has won hearts through period dramas and modern romances. Wang Yibo, with his mysterious charm, boundless talent, and undeniable coolness, is a force who commands music stages, racetracks, and acting sets alike. But what if I told you that fate had something in store for them that no one expected? That for one evening, their carefully separated paths collided in a way that left everyone stunned? This is the story of that night, a story whispered about in fan circles, speculated in online forums, and nearly erased from the records until pieces of it began to resurface. The setting. Not a red carpet. Not a film set. Not even an industry gala. No, this story begins in the most unexpected of places, a quiet rooftop restaurant overlooking the city skyline. It was one of those evenings where the air felt charged, almost like the universe itself was waiting to set something in motion. Kai, fresh from a day of filming, had chosen the rooftop for solitude. He often preferred quiet corners where no cameras trailed him, where he could simply exist without scripts or flashes. Sitting by the edge, drink in hand, he watched the city lights flicker against the darkness, lost in thought. But destiny had other plans. Wang Yibo, who had just wrapped up an exhausting dance rehearsal, was looking for the same thing that night: silence. He was the type who could find peace even in the loudest cities, but this time, he wanted to breathe somewhere above the chaos, somewhere untouched. By sheer coincidence, or perhaps something far more cosmic, he chose the very same rooftop restaurant. The moment he stepped in, the air shifted. Staff members straightened their postures, whispers darted across tables, and yet neither Kai nor Yibo seemed aware of each other at first. Kai noticed him only when the faint clinking of Yibo's shoes echoed against the tiled floor. For a split second, Kai froze. Wang Yibo wasn't just another celebrity walking in, he was an enigma, someone who rarely crossed paths with others outside of tightly controlled spaces. Their careers had never intersected. Their fans had never seen them together. Yet here he was, walking straight into Kai's quiet corner of the world. At first, there was silence. Kai, curious but cautious, continued sipping his drink. Yibo, expression unreadable, simply walked to a nearby table. But there was an undeniable energy between them, as though the universe itself was holding its breath. Then, the unexpected happened. A sudden gust of wind swept across the rooftop, knocking over a nearby candle stand. It toppled dangerously close to Yibo's chair, the flame threatening to scatter. Kai reacted without hesitation, standing quickly and grabbing it before the flame could cause trouble. Their eyes met. It wasn't just a fleeting glance. It was the kind of look that lingered, heavy with unspoken thoughts, carrying an intensity that words could not match. In that brief exchange, something clicked: not friendship, not rivalry, but a recognition. As if both of them suddenly realized they were standing at the same crossroads, even if only for that night. Yibo gave a small nod of acknowledgement, one that spoke volumes in its simplicity. Kai responded with the faintest smile. And just like that, the walls that separated them began to crumble. They started talking, not about work, not about fame, not about the endless rumors that circled them, but about life. About late nights where exhaustion felt heavier than success. About the pressure of being constantly watched. About how sometimes, the brightest spotlight felt colder than the darkest corner. The more they spoke, the more the rooftop seemed to vanish. It was no longer a restaurant, no longer a public place. It became a universe of two, where every word carried weight, where every pause meant something. Then came the part no one would believe unless they saw it. At one point, a light drizzle began to fall. Instead of retreating inside, Kai stayed seated, letting the rain mist his hair. Yibo followed his lead, stretching his hand out to feel the drops. For a fleeting moment, two of China's biggest stars sat in the rain like ordinary souls, laughing at the absurdity of it all. No cameras, no stage, no audience, just raw humanity. But what truly shocked those who caught glimpses from afar was what happened next. The rooftop had a piano, an old, slightly out-of-tune instrument often ignored by diners. Yibo, known for his musical talents, casually walked over and began to play. His fingers, elegant yet precise, brought the melody to life. Shu Kai watched, intrigued, then without warning, began to sing softly along. It wasn't rehearsed. It wasn't perfect. But it was breathtaking. Two worlds colliding in a song under the rain. Whispers say that the staff, though forbidden from recording, stood frozen in awe. They had never seen something like it, an unplanned collaboration, a harmony that felt less like performance and more like fate. Of course, the night couldn't stay hidden forever. A few blurry photos surfaced days later, showing two tall figures sitting side by side on a rooftop, heads tilted toward each other, with the city lights burning in the background. Fans speculated wildly. Was it really Shu Kai and Wang Yibo? Was it staged? Was it a secret project? Or something far more personal? Neither Shu Kai nor Yibo confirmed or denied it. Both stayed silent, letting the mystery fuel the storm. But for those who were there, for those who witnessed even fragments of that evening, the truth was undeniable. Something rare had happened, something that blurred the line between coincidence and destiny. And the impact was immediate. Within weeks, casting directors began whispering about pairing them together. Brand executives dreamed of campaigns that would unite their magnetic presences. Fans began flooding forums with edits, theories, and pleas for collaboration. But beyond the noise of the industry and the speculation of fans, what mattered was that moment itself. A collision of two paths that were never meant to cross, yet somehow did. Perhaps that's the beauty of fate, it doesn't care about schedules, contracts, or public perception. It moves quietly, arranging meetings that no one sees coming, creating stories that live not in headlines but in the hearts of those who believe in the magic of chance. Shu Kai and Wang Yibo's unexpected meeting was one of those rare, fleeting stories. A story without scripts. A story without cameras. A story that will remain etched not just in the memory of those who witnessed it but in the imagination of millions who wished they had. When paths collide, sometimes sparks fly, sometimes worlds shatter, but every so often, just every so often, something extraordinary is born. And on that rooftop, under the drizzle, with a piano as their witness, Shu Kai and Wang Yibo created a moment that no one saw coming, but no one will ever forget. That rooftop meeting between Shu Kai and Wang Yibo didn't just end with a piano under the drizzle. In fact, the night stretched further into the kind of story that feels too unbelievable to be true, the kind that fans whisper about, turning speculation into legend. As the rain tapped softly against the wooden deck, Shu Kai leaned back in his chair, watching Yibo's fingers dance effortlessly across the piano keys. The music was hauntingly beautiful, the type of melody that doesn't belong to a stage or studio, but to a fleeting moment in time. Shu Kai, usually the picture of composure, found himself captivated. He had worked alongside many talents, but there was something different here. Something almost magnetic. "Do you always play like that when no one's watching?" Shu Kai asked, breaking the quiet hum of the rain. Yibo didn't look up, but a faint smirk touched his lips. "Maybe. Depends on who's listening." It wasn't arrogance. It was honesty. And somehow, it pulled Shu Kai even deeper into the atmosphere. The rooftop staff, caught between professionalism and pure awe, tried to act as if nothing unusual was happening, yet their eyes kept flickering toward the two stars. Every note, every exchanged glance felt electric, as if the rooftop itself was holding its breath. Then came a twist no one saw coming. From below the restaurant, a faint commotion began to rise. A handful of fans had caught wind that Shu Kai was dining there, and they were gathering near the entrance, cameras ready. Neither star had planned to be seen together, and if photos leaked, the internet would explode with theories. Shu Kai noticed first. His brow furrowed as he leaned closer to Yibo. "We might have company." Yibo stopped playing, his sharp eyes narrowing toward the stairwell. He wasn't the type to panic, but he also wasn't the type to invite unnecessary chaos. For a moment, it seemed like they would both quietly retreat, slipping into the night to avoid detection. But instead, something unexpected happened. Yibo stood, stretched, and with a mischievous glint in his eye, whispered, "Then let's give them a story they'll never figure out." Shu Kai blinked. What do you mean? Before he could ask further, Yibo grabbed the candle Shu Kai had saved earlier and lit it again, placing it squarely on the piano. The golden flame flickered, illuminating the raindrops around them. Then Yibo began to play once more, louder this time, almost daring anyone listening below to wonder what was happening. And Shu Kai? He didn't hesitate. He joined in with his deep, melodic voice, singing words that weren't rehearsed, weaving his voice into Yibo's music. To anyone who might have been listening from afar, it sounded surreal. Two mysterious voices, blending into the rain, carried down into the streets below. Fans outside froze, straining to listen. Some even recorded snippets of the sound, not realizing until later whose voices they had captured. But on the rooftop, something else unfolded. The rain grew heavier, drumming against the tables and floor, but neither man moved. Shu Kai's laughter mixed with the music as water soaked through his jacket. Yibo, usually reserved, let go of his guardedness for once, his fingers slipping across the piano keys with reckless abandon. It was raw. It was unfiltered. It was two of China's brightest stars shedding every mask they had been forced to wear. When the song ended, silence fell again. Heavy, charged silence. Shu Kai leaned closer, his voice low but steady. You know the world will go crazy if they ever find out about this. Yibo tilted his head, droplets of rain clinging to his hair. Let them wonder. Not everything has to be explained. It was an answer that lingered. Because he was right, mystery had its own power. But just when they thought the night couldn't get any stranger, fate threw another curveball. A flash of lightning lit up the sky, followed by a loud crack of thunder. The sudden jolt knocked out the rooftop lights, plunging the place into near darkness, save for the candle flickering between them. Gasps erupted from the staff, but Shu Kai and Yibo remained calm, almost amused. Shu Kai chuckled, shaking his head. The universe really doesn't want us to be ordinary tonight. Yibo smirked, leaning back with arms crossed. Ordinary was never our style anyway. They sat there, two silhouettes framed by storm and city lights, sharing a quiet understanding that this night, however brief, was not one they would forget. Down below, fans speculated wildly as blurry videos of voices and shadows began spreading online. By morning, social media was flooded with theories. Were Shu Kai and Wang Yibo secretly working on a project? Was this a hidden performance? Or something personal? Neither actor addressed it. Both posted nothing on their accounts the next day, leaving silence as their only response. But silence, in their world, often spoke louder than words. And those who had been there that night, whether staff or fans lingering in the streets, knew they had witnessed something unrepeatable. Something unscripted. Something fated. The truth. It wasn't about music, or rain, or even fame. It was about two lives, running parallel for so long, suddenly crashing into each other and sparking something that words can't fully capture. When paths collide, the world doesn't always notice right away. But for those who do, it feels like watching history being written in real time. And that's exactly what happened on that rooftop, when Shu Kai and Wang Yibo created a night that will echo far beyond rumors and speculation. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, comment your thoughts on what really happened, share with other fans, and of course, subscribe for more mind-blowing stories you won't find anywhere else.